What's up, Stitt-Heads, red, white, and blue beer? I just want to say happy birthday to America. 250 years. You don't look a day over 10, you big, beautiful bastard. And it's a funny thing in America right now. We're extremely divided. Everybody's up in arms about this, or race relations, or left or right politics, or sports ball, or whatever else they want to argue and moan about. But either way, man, I'll bring my friend from the north, Alex Pauls, back on for the I don't know 50,000th time. Probably as many times as we've won the war in Iran. I think Alex has been on the podcast at this point now. But Alex Pauls, thanks for coming on, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. I feel honored because I always say that I am an American trapped in a Canadian's body. So
Mm-hmm.
one day I will be living in America and it's going to be amazing.
I'm not completely anti-immigrant, man. I mean, if we had more immigrants coming in, like you are kind of like American to me, but also that's kind of the spirit of like how people should be anyways. And I'm not saying be Americans. I just mean like be open-minded, be cool with people, and be live and let live and whatnot. And then you're like, oh shit, sometimes I forget you actually are from Canada.
Right? I mean,
I've adopted you to America in my heart.
oh, well, thanks. I mean, I grew up watching all the greatest American action movies. I was propagandized into loving America. And as a Canadian, I mean, we love Canada, but we're not like patriotic like Americans are. So it was always fascinating to me watching Americans love America. And I would say it's even more fascinating in a horrible way, the way things have gone now because of, Marxist propaganda in the
Hmm.
universities and the schools and basically teaching you to hate yourself and hate America. It's so mind blowingly stupid. I mean, hey,
Well, like I
I don't
share
get it, but that's the power of propaganda.
picture I shared this morning. It's like me talking about how much I love America, and it's got Macho Man and all the red, white, and blue, and then it says me talking about how much I hate the government. And it's got V for Vendetta on there, and you're like, those two things can be completely separate, and that's the problem. That like I saw people's posts yesterday and today that were, it's almost like safe, dangerous, and dangerous, dangerous every day of the year. I'll talk shit about American politics and policy and things like that, but not what made America, not the founding fathers, not baseball and hot dogs and, guns and all that cool shit. I don't like the legislation. So it's like these people are posted in the past 2 days that like, oh, all these people celebrating the 4th of July, but they bitch about America all the time, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, there's a difference between bitching about the country and bitching about the leadership of the country. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we are so far into the WWF as politics now. I mean, we've had a dead man for 4 years. We've had Crazy Orange Man for four, and now another two or three. So,
About two now, yeah.
and I mean, Donald Trump was literally in the WWF.
Yeah. He's in the Hall of Fame, I
As
believe, isn't he? He's actually in the WWF Hall of Fame.
yeah, yeah, he probably has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Shame. I mean, this guy is an actor. He is playing a role. And I just can't believe people pledging their allegiance to this guy. Either they hate him or they love him. So why are you giving this dude your energy? He's jacking your luge.
Hmm. Yeah. It's like, oh, well, what about Biden? You're like, what about Biden? What, did you see my social media and my podcast 2 years ago? I was calling him a dumb, retarded potato anyways back then. So next question. Like, it's like
Right?
just
Right?
because your guy's in office doesn't mean he's impenetrable from bullets. Like I mean, well, that was probably a way bad way. I did not mean that. I mean, like words, man. Like you can criticize somebody is what I was trying to say. You can criticize
Yeah.
the hell out of somebody. It doesn't matter what side they're on. So just because your guy is in doesn't mean, you know, he's off the table.
I would say from all of my travels around the entire world, 80 to 90% of people are normal people and they just want to do their thing.
Hmm.
And talking about, let's say when we were growing up, everybody, the Russians are the bad guys in the movies. The Russians are the
Yep.
bad guys in the movies. And then you basically propagandize to think that Russians are bad people. Could you imagine if you and I went to Russia on a trip? We'd probably be blown away by how, uh, we'd have these weird stereotypes in our minds
Hmm.
about what it would be like. And then you get there and it's like, oh, wow, people are pretty friendly. It's like, they have running water. This isn't this
Yeah.
communist hellhole, like those kinds of things. And one of my favorite YouTubers, he travels the world, and he said that his favorite place in the world to travel to is Iran. He says the people
Really.
are the nice in the entire world. Iran is his favorite place to go. And this was before the war. This isn't like this is years ago. He was saying that the people of Iran are actually like the nicest, most hospitable
Yeah.
people he's seen in the entire world. And this is somebody who doesn't have a political agenda to actually say that.
Well, there's a
So,
massive
I mean,
shift right now, like Tucker and Megyn Kelly and people like that. They're um they're coming back and like apologizing for the rhetoric and propaganda they spread for years on Fox News and MSNBC and whatever, affiliates they worked on. And they're coming back and saying like, dude, we were propagandized about all the Muslims, all the Middle Eastern stuff. It's interesting, like, who started feeding us all that propaganda? Only some of us knows, but I'm saying like, but it's funny that like we go back and we look and we're like, yeah, dude, a lot of these people were propagandized, whether it's the old bad guys from 40 years ago, which were the Russians, the new bad guys for the past 30 plus years, which are the Middle Easterners, any of them, just pick one, throw a dart on a dartboard at this point,
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
tomorrow it's this guy. Or if you ask Netanyahu, who's been focused on Iran for 30 years, saying the same speech. He's like Al Gore with climate change. Guys, I promise in 2 weeks, Iran's going to have a nuke 30 years later. I mean, it's going to be 2 weeks from today. I mean, you misquoted me.
right, right. I mean, look at how, think about during COVID. And I was saying this, I don't know if you and I were talking about this during COVID, but like, where's Al Qaeda? Where's
Yeah.
Boko Haram? Where are those guys? Are they just taking a break from terrorism because of COVID?
Oh,
Like, are they
dude, they were
hiding in
locked
their
down
caves?
in the caves. Yeah.
Yeah,
They were locked down,
yeah, they're just locked
scared.
down. We don't want to die from COVID. We gotta stop our terrorism. We can't just go about business. I mean, we got something really big on our hands. It's bigger than terrorism. We gotta worry about that. Allah forbids it.
Right.
Like, come on. Like,
We're
come
not, we're
on.
not, we're not, trading out AKs anymore. We're transporting what fucking toilet paper and hand sanitizer, because Dr.
Right?
Fauci, patron saint of the world, said so.
Yeah. I actually would go with I don't trust anything the news or social media try that whatever they try really hard to direct my attention to, I know it's like a psyop or BS. Like this
Yeah.
is what they want you to focus on, and it's just the next flavor of the day. The next flavor of the day. They'll try and get you with what was the stupid hantavirus?
Yep.
None of us care. None of us cared about that. Okay, we got to try. We got to try this new thing out. We got to try this new thing out. It's like, oh my goodness, like it's so obvious. How can people still keep falling for it?
They're telling a bunch of people there's some new explosive diarrhea virus going through the country right now. And I'm like, maybe that's called
Oh
too much
Lord.
beer and too much barbecue on the 4th of July. I mean, I don't know. You might have a blowout the next morning. You might have ate too much, But
That just means you had a good time, right? I
that's what
mean,
I'm
we've all
saying. I'm
had
like,
those
well,
days.
it's just cleansing your soul, man. You're just cleaning out right there. Sometimes you
Yeah,
got to
the
have that
body
little
can only
blast.
handle so much fun.
Yeah, get it out, dude. It's like your anger. Just fucking get it out.
Just get it out, man. Just get it out. Yeah, it's oh man, this is wild. I mean, you and I could probably go to Israel and have a pretty cool trip to like Tel Aviv or Jerusalem or whatever.
Hmm.
See any of those places and probably meet a bunch of really nice people. And at the end of the day, it's the crazies, man. It's
Of
the
every group.
extreme right wingers, the extreme left wingers, like the Hasidic guys that hate everybody except for their own people.
Hmm.
It's those people with those extreme tribal minds that we all like all us regular folks should be worried about.
Yeah.
And that's every religion has their crazies, right? Christianity has their crazies too. Islam has their crazies, and social media and the news are just trying so hard to have their flavor of the month, which crazy is the craziest and who's right. Everybody's always the good guy, and then that guy's the bad guy.
Well, I just had John Schaefer. That was my last episode I dropped from Iced Earth, and he was at January 6th. It stormed inside the
Oh,
Capitol. He was locked
oh,
up for three
really?
months. Yeah. And all his rights were stripped, in there. He didn't know if he was going to be in there for 3 months, 3 years, 30 years, whatever, because
Mm,
and it was during COVID. So none of the judges are in and the courts are getting delayed and all that, fun stuff. But what we talked about a lot of things, but kind of like what you're saying is like these extreme groups of all of them. And he's like, dude, I've traveled all over the world. He's played in big metal band for decades at this point, played in Russia, played in all these places, played in Eastern Europe, Japan, everywhere, right? The Middle East.
hmm
And he's like, man, he's like, the propaganda tells you that these places are shitty. And then you get there and you're like, this place is actually pretty badass. And then he goes, but
hmm
also, like he brought up the Jays saying in a good light, meaning like the propaganda, they can be strong with them too sometimes in a way. Like they have their own propaganda they follow, so it's almost like our friends that are boomers that buy AI slop. It's kind of like, well, bless their heart, It's one of those deals. But it was funny. It's like we got into the idea that like, yeah, dude, there's a lot of people that we do want to point out this group, that group. It's too easy. Mainstream news keeps us too divided. But at the end of the day, like you're gonna meet a shitload of cool people, and half the time, unless you're a vegan or a gay person or something, like they're usually not gonna tell you right out the gate. You know what I'm getting at? Like your whole identity. Like there are some groups that do that, but you get what I'm saying. Like some
Yeah, I
people
don't
you can just
introduce
have a
myself as a
conversation with.
geocentrist. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't just say,
just
"Hey, I'm a geocentrist. Let's get into this."
uh-huh.
Like, oh, and I also have my foreskin, so let's go.
Hey, hey, little extra
Can you
there,
imagine
bud.
introducing yourself and saying you don't have foreskin? That would be weird,
Right,
Derek.
right. But that's the
That would be
point. Is
weird.
like the news is making you think like, okay, the girl from Blossom and The Big Bang Theory, the Myron Blalock or whatever how you say her name, she's got
Oh
some
yeah,
viral clips. She was on a podcast the other day talking about how she posts all the time about Israel this, Israel that, and F Palestine. Doesn't say necessarily F Palestine, but doesn't give a shit about anything going on and everywhere else. And
right.
so she's got this viral clip going on where she's saying that the other day I was at my favorite vegan restaurant. She has to put that in there with my two boys. And this man comes walking towards me and approaching me, and his shirt says Zionism is racism. And how am I supposed to tell? But this is blah, blah, blah. And then she even gets to the point where she's like, my teenage son was like, well, mom, when was the last time you posted anything about the Palestinian people? And then she goes, well, what even if I tattooed it on my forehead, what does that matter? But it's the point of like we're still got victimhood everywhere. Like this guy's just wearing a t-shirt that's his freedom of speech. I'm wearing a George Washington shirt right now. Like to
Yeah,
somebody that's I don't know, that hates America. If a British guy walks by me in America that's a citizen, he could be offended by my shirt. No, fuck you, dude. This is America.
dude. And I don't know if you and I were talking about this recently, but the grifting has got to be getting pretty tough for these guys. Like the blacks holding on to slavery, the Jews hanging on to the Holocaust. The further we get away from these things, like, dude, you got to be so desperate to
No
hang on to
protected
the grift,
classes. Yes.
right? Like, white people, they got white privilege, and Native Americans, Native Canadians, like they get all these special deals because they're grifting so hard and they don't want to lose their special privileges. Like, God forbid you were actually equal and you had white privilege. Could you imagine getting your white privilege card if your
What? It'd be like shining in
grandparents
the
were
mail.
slaves, right? Like
It'd be like Pulp
none of
Fiction
these
when they open the
people,
briefcase, the gold hue
right?
coming out of it. It finally
Right?
came.
Oh
I'm
my
kidding.
God. Like, seriously, man, people nowadays, what is it? Their great grandparents were maybe in the Holocaust. And even then, like, was every single Jewish person in the Holocaust? No, that's impossible.
Right.
Like, what did they just like all congregate there? There was just none anywhere else in the entire world. Like, what?
Right.
Like,
I'm
none of that makes sense.
German, Irish, and Native, and a couple other tiny things sprinkled in there, mostly European shit. But those are my three main things. And it's like, oh, nothing bad ever happened to my people ever. And I don't get to bitch
Right?
about it. It's just because I'm white. I'm not these other groups that had atrocities possibly happen to them. You're like, oh, German, what? Well, I'm talking about the people of Germany, not the Nazi party themselves. The people of Germany had to suffer through their towns and shit getting blown to fucking hell. And, it's
Right?
like, we've all got something in our past that's going to be this little get out of jail free card if you know how to use it right. But it's also like,
Yeah.
what a bitch move in life. Just fucking grow up, man. Just move on.
Right? That's like me talking about my parents coming from Russia and somehow surviving the Stalin Holocaust, which was like
Right.
30 million Russians murdered. How many Russian people do you hear talking about that? Like
Right.
none. None of them are grifting. None of them are wanting like special rights. None of them want their own, Schindler Love's list or whatever.
They work harder.
The Russian version. It's just like you got to move on and push it along and do your thing. Like
Yeah.
what does it do other than getting free handouts? Which is what do they want? Reparations in California now?
I mean, I'm calling, if I was running for president, I'm calling for free hand jobs, not free handouts. I mean, come on, give me a social worker that comes and does that, right? That's my
Right?
tax dollars going to good hands, if you know what I'm saying.
Dude, I did the math on California's homeless situation. If California would have just given the money that was allotted to homelessness, which I think was like 23 billion over the last 5 or 6 years, if they would have just given all that money to the homeless people, I think I calculated like every homeless person would have got $2 billion,
Dude, that's
which would have
crazy.
effectively ended homelessness,
Yeah.
and
But they don't want to end
they'd
the
all be
homelessness
rocking
because
around.
there's the grift and there's the paycheck. It's just like medical, like we don't want a patient cured as a customer lost, basically. It's one of those deals where, oh shit. It's like if Batman beat up every bad guy in existence, then he's gonna go, oh fuck, I don't have a job anymore. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah, Tom and Jerry. If Jerry gets killed,
Yeah.
show's over. It's done.
Hmm.
You gotta have a show. And I don't know if this is true. I don't know if this is like a thing because it's on social media. But the Nick Shirley Act in California. Have you heard about this? Is this a real thing that
Oh,
Congress
yes,
is
I
trying to
have
prep?
heard bits of it. Not enough in the media, but I have heard of it. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so they're trying to prevent guys like Nick Shirley from exposing corruption, which
Yep.
is just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
You
Because
just
you're
have
no
a
you're
yeah, you have a
admitting it out
regular
loud.
dude. Yeah. It's like you have a regular dude with a video camera just interviewing people with fake government handout businesses, whether
Hmm.
it's medical or childcare or whatever. And these people are just grifting off of it. And I'm sure the politicians are also getting paid under the table. It's got to be some kind of money laundering thing.
Hmm. It is.
And dude, like there should be so many people swinging from the trees. I don't care what color you are. Politicians should be swinging from the trees like piñatas, and we
Yeah.
should be beating them with sticks because,
I'm glad you
dude,
said
it is,
pinatas. I thought you might have gone somewhere else with that. I'm kidding.
dude, it is high time. Like I'm telling you, like everybody is so addicted to just doom scrolling on their phones and drinking or smoking weed, and it's like holy smokes,
Hey,
man!
well,
Like
dude,
time
I'm
for
guilty of all
revolution is
those
now.
things, but I'm guilty of all those things,
I
but
am
I'm
too.
prepared for revolution as well. I mean, not meaning like violence, I just meaning like I mean, I could probably prepare more food wise and stuff like that, rations for the family and crap. But I mean, like on basic necessities, we've definitely got most boxes checked off. But yeah, I mean, it's like I doom scroll, I drink beer, I smoke weed, but that's just kind of the folly of man, you know? But
It's
but the
all
thing
good,
is like
everything in moderation. But
exactly,
I'm
as long as
telling
you don't
you,
let it consume you.
at the end of the day, I would give my life so that my kids could have a better life. I'm kind of at that point where, I'd sacrifice myself so that they could like live a better life. Honestly, I would.
Absolutely. I mean, and it sucks because it's kind of like it's getting dark because it does seem like it's getting closer to that point. But then you say that out loud and people are like, well, you're just black pilled. You're like, yeah, but you can't be too white pilled in this weird ass world. And that's the double-edged sword of knowing about the algorithms are trying to manipulate you. The news is northeast, west, and south, taking your brain every direction around the planet, planet,
Yeah.
whatever you subscribe to.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's like we there's this weirdness of like the internet age, it's the information age, whatever. It is a good thing for humanity because there's a lot of things that we're talking about nowadays that nobody was able to communicate and get together and talk about 30 years ago. Yet there's
Yeah.
also a bunch of fittest fag earther guys out there that like to just be disinformation agents in the world and then
Oh yeah.
and then there's followers that follow that and then you're like no you're more distracted than the mainstream news people now because now you're invested into the woo woo but you're on the wrong fucking end of it.
Well, I heard Derek Stitt is actually Keanu Reeves, so
It could be.
I'm buying into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I could be. Actually, I'm the reincarnation of Chris Cornell. He is still alive. I've got the
Ooh,
mustache. I've got the don't have the voice. Somehow,
he's a pretty
whenever
talented guy. Yeah.
whenever his soul came back into mine, or they swapped our bodies, or however they did. Palantir, Peter Thiel, he was involved. He was a really, really gentle soul. But I'm just saying, he brain swapped us, and I'm back. I just something didn't compute. I lost 5%, which was the vocal ability. So I'll just tell Tyler before he tells me.
Exactly. It's so funny. I was just talking to somebody about how ridiculous the guy is. See, whoever smelt it dealt it. He's like the ultimate guy, king of shit in his pants, or her
Hmm.
pants. I'm pretty sure he's a tranny.
Could be.
So
Could be.
yeah,
I like when the
I could.
first couple
I'll go on
times
record for
Tripoli would
that.
talk about him, and he would actually. It was hilarious because he didn't do it on purpose, but it was just hilarious because he actually called him the fattest flat earther a couple times, and I'm like, bro, that's just hilarious and perfect because if that's like you're gonna have the audacity to call yourself like the fittest person, like known to man, right? Mr. Olympia or something, right? I'm just saying, like
Yeah.
you're gonna if I'm holding a Zach Wild guitar, somebody's gonna expect me to play No More Tears guitar solo or something, right? But
Right.
so him labeling himself that and then triply accidentally messing it up the first two or three times, and it was genuine. He genuinely messed it up, but being the complete opposite, going from like the fittest to the fattest, like, bro, come on. But it's America.
uh
We can say whatever the hell we want in this country. So can
I
he.
was gonna ask I was gonna ask you, at what point do you think Joe Rogan sold out? Like, do you have a timeline where you think that he totally like flopped and we just
Well,
lost him completely?
if you ask Mr. Tyler Hansen, it might have been around the time when they swapped him with Aleister Crowley, the reincarnation. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I
Oh
don't know,
wow,
man.
okay.
I think Rogan, you've never seen that was one of his older videos saying that Rogan is Aleister Crowley and putting them side by side and saying, look at
Oh
this,
shit, I
look at
can't
the
believe
ears.
it.
Like, bro, yeah, that was one of his early, like, what the fucks. But, anyways, Rogan, I don't know, man. I don't want to defend Rogan, but he does get weird on some subjects and he does kind of shut down some subjects. But I think to give him some defense, I think he's way more open-minded of talking of any subject with any person on the planet. He's great at playing stupid and letting people walk themselves. Like if they say something, instead of just moving on from it, he'll be like, "Well, wait, what do you mean by that?" And then they'll have to
Mm,
explain themselves. And so
mm,
there's a lot of good that comes out of Rogan clips sometimes because you'll see politicians or movie stars or whoever slip up and tell you something where you're like, "Oh shit." So I don't know, man. I think he probably is somehow in some big, but not the biggest circles. Does that make sense? Like he's kind of like a
yeah.
pawn for them, but I think he plays that role well, kind of in a defense form. Kind of see what I'm saying? Like I still
I
listen to
always
some
thought
Rogans, but not as much as I used to years ago. But it depends on the guest. I'll listen to a couple a month.
I always thought that he sold out when he went to Spotify because they dumped a bunch of episodes. Like there was some that got
I
totally like
forgot about that. Yeah.
gone.
I think
So
a
that's kind
couple
of a
Alex
big
Jones ones actually, I think now that I think about it.
yeah, that's a big red flag. But I think the thing that kind of killed Rogan permanently for me, like I won't listen to Rogan anymore, is the Bart Sibrel interview that he did with him.
I remember
Because
that.
you don't go from not believing the moon landing way before Bart Sibrel. He was a moon landing denier for a long time, and then he linked up with Neil deGrasse Tyson or
Yeah.
something, and all of a sudden he flipped the script. And then Bart Sibrel comes on and shows Rogan like how stupid it is. It's actually like a mentally retarded IQ test. Like if you
hmm
believe in the moon landing, you are technically a retard.
hmm At least
Like
from what we're
and that
seeing. Even if there was some
yeah
crazy special forces thing that we never saw, okay, hypothetically, maybe. If I can't prove it, I can't prove it. But from the evidence they show to show the proof of, like you're saying, the video footage and things, it is kind of funny. Now, I have watched a few where he just had Tim Dillon on recently. I'll watch when he has like Dave Smith or Tim Dillon. He just had Scott Horton on, who I got Scott Horton coming back in a couple weeks, which is awesome. And like there's good guests that still come on, but then there's a bunch of other people who are like, who the fuck is this establishment guy that's being pushed? Because Rogan is kind of the weird zeitgeist of information at this point. But
right.
but it's also like, man, I would almost rather have Rogan being a little bit of the zeitgeist of people just getting information. They can go research the information if they hear something weird versus Fox News or CNBC or MSNBC telling us this is what you're supposed to believe. You kind of see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, so
Yeah, yeah.
Rogan, I don't agree with him flip flopping on the moon stuff, but he has recently brought up a video here or two of like watching like an actual black and white video of like the astronauts that he's just laughing his ass off being stoned again. You're like, maybe he's coming back around. I don't know. I don't know.
It depends what they let him say, right? I mean, that's got to be such a hard predicament to be in. Once you get to that level and you got that kind of money and that responsibility, like you have masters and you can
Yep.
say things and you can't say certain things. And if you get out of line, then they'll P Diddy you. It's like,
Yep.
oh shit, all of a sudden it's like, okay, now you're in jail. Like I'm sure at one point P. Diddy thought he was untouchable. He could do whatever the hell he wanted, and then he pissed off the wrong handler, and there he goes. He's all lubed up in jail now.
Pissed off the wrong Steen or Stein or whatever. One of those guys. Those money guys. No, I
Who
mean,
knows?
you're
Yeah.
right. And I think I don't know. It is better. I think like even Pierce Morgan is another one that's like useful, but sometimes he has the dumbest takes on the planet. But at least like Pierce, he's kind of like you in a way, but you're smarter than Pierce Morgan. But to where like
Oh,
he's a
thanks.
British guy, but he actually does believe in a lot of the American freedoms more than kind of like England stuff. You know what I'm kind of saying? Like he
Yeah,
believes in freedom of speech, absolutely. He believes in guns, even though he doesn't agree with guns and blah blah blah, right? And you're like, okay, so when he has all these people screaming and having debates and whatnot, at least the conversation are still getting out there. Kind of see what I'm saying? Even if it's
yep,
chaos, even if he disagrees, that's what I think Rogan is better than just having an establishment shill telling you exactly what to believe. Here's my news report. See you tomorrow at 6 o'clock for the 24-hour news. Like I don't
yeah.
know, but I don't.
I I'm a pretty good centrist. I'm pretty good in the center. Once in a while, I'll get off the rails, either left or
Yeah.
right, and it's really good to have conversations like this, especially with other people, where you kind of, you know, question yourself when you can look back at yourself and like, oh man, maybe I am a little bit out of line with that, or maybe I am too far on the left this time. This is a little bit too crazy because we tend to, I guess, want everybody to be as morally good as we are,
Hmm.
even though I can always be morally better. But I like to think that I have a good foundation, and most of my stuff comes from common sense because of this. And it's not everybody has that, and that there is the delusion. I think that's the delusion of the left, is where the left really wants equality for everybody, and they're totally blind to the fact that um not everybody wants that. Other people want power, other people want more, other
Hmm.
people want special rights. They don't want equal rights, they want special rights. They want as many free things as they can as many free things as they can get.
Right.
And they are totally blind to that because they're so busy trying to make the world a perfect Shangri-La that they miss that. Where, and then on the right too, it's maybe you are so conservative that you miss out on a change, a social change that could actually benefit a lot of people
Hmm.
because you're so busy trying to conserve, what you think is the best. And I think that's why it's always good to have a discussion
Yeah.
and open your mind to see what is capable or what's possible
It's
in the
better to
future.
be like a little bit on both sides than to pick ultimately only one side. Like to be
Hmm.
able to be like, okay, um, I want to have my freedom of speech and I want to have my guns. So that's kind of a very right wing thing. But I also want small government and, my weed and whatever. And that's kind of libertarian or possibly democratic things. And it's kind of like, we these are nuanced conversations. It's not just my team
Sure.
versus your team because everybody on your team doesn't even agree on the same damn thing either. It's like, hey,
Right.
libertarians, let's start a party over here, and then you go, okay, cool, we don't agree with those guys. What do we agree on? We don't agree on anything with each other, and you're like, oh shit, so that backfired. And it's like that's what people need to just come together and notice that we're all going to have differences, but we should be able to at least have the differences might be at 20% versus the 80% we might have in common, or maybe even
Right.
60, but that's still better than 40, right?
Well, why do you think there's so many Christian sections? It's like one little thing you disagree on. Boom, we got to go start our own
Exactly.
sect
Yeah.
of Christianity. Oh my goodness. Everybody wants to be in their own tribe where everybody thinks the exact same way.
Hmm.
It's wild. And I think that COVID really just exposed, uh, you know, the fact that we have to hate the other person if they
Yep.
don't think exactly like we do.
Yep.
And I don't think it was to me it wasn't always like that. I'm old enough to remember where you could talk politics, where you could talk religion, and then at the end of the night you're still friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if
Because
you
you could have a
disagree.
civil discourse, even if you disagreed, you could have the conversation without screaming at each other and calling each other a fascist or a libtard or a
Right.
whatever.
Right. I would say this is fairly new. All this insanity where you can't talk religion, where you can't talk politics with people. And I don't like that. I like talking about those kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I think it's a little both. I think you're right. They're trying to make it seem like you can't talk these things, but it's also them realizing people are actually starting to talk more about those things. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
that. putting that seed out there, telling them like, "Oh, people are more divided than ever." Meanwhile,
Hmm.
they're getting closer than ever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Christians and Muslim people are starting to become friends, being like, "Yo, shit, I didn't know that you actually believe in Jesus. What? You just don't believe he's the son of God, but you still think he's pretty cool and righteous, man? Okay, okay, I was lied to. You know, like." So
Right.
it's I think people are having the conversations and they're freaking out and they're trying to 1984 double speak
Yeah.
whatever part,
Yep.
they're trying to tell you. It's like just like COVID you brought up, you remember? We're alone in this together. You're like, bro, that is some double speak shit if I ever heard it. Alone together
Yeah.
in your fucking $30 million mansion, and you're singing Imagine by John Lennon, who was a piece of shit, but you're fucking singing that shit to the world. And we're all in this together. No, we're not. Kiss
Oh
my
man, you
ass.
just gave me a great idea for a show. We should do mashups where we do like Woody Allen versus John Lennon. Who's worse? And then we get to
Dude,
vote. And
yeah.
then we have like a championship for who's the worst piece of shit there is.
Maybe AI is a good thing because I just thought of an idea. We take those and we start making AI videos. We'll make our own celebrity death match, the biggest pieces of shit in history, and we'll make AI videos of them, but in claymation deathmatch style. And yeah, dude,
All right.
I'll even have them put me. You can go against Stephen Hawking. I'll even have them put me in there. I'll take Woodrow Wilson. I'll take somebody like that. I'll pick a good one.
Oh, dude, did you send me the picture of them taping Stephen Hawking to the
Yes.
horse?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck, I laughed at that shit. Oh my god. Could you imagine the fun they had on the island with that moron?
Oh yeah.
God, it would have been amazing. Just like
Right.
flopping off the horse.
Dude, Kurt Metzger, as I was bringing up that Miriam Blaylock or whatever her name is, Kurt Metzger brought up a good conspiracy. He's like, I got something I'm bouncing around in my head right now. You go back and you watch Big Bang Theory, and all those chicks that were their girlfriends, most of them were too hot for them anyways. And he goes, so what if they were basically the Israeli honey traps because all these rich or all these super smart nerd dudes that are going to these technical, like big technical colleges. He goes, that's the Epstein freaking island visitor list, basically. He's like, those kind of guys in 5 years are getting their degrees and then they're in the field. And those are the guys going. And I'm like, oh shit, dude, Kurt, you're like 10 steps ahead of everybody.
That's funny. Yeah, I never thought about
I
that, but
never
that
thought
makes
about it
sense,
because that show's
dude.
not funny, and then they put all the laughing track
No.
in there to make you think it's funny. So then it's forced comedy, is what it really is. But is it forced comedy because it's
Oh,
propaganda? You know?
it's propaganda, dude. That show is so stupid. I don't understand how anybody could watch it. I've watched a little bit of it, and I'm like, what is funny about these soy betas that have obvious autism and they're living with these girls? I just don't get it. Like seriously,
Mm-hmm.
it makes absolutely no sense to me. How can this be a show where you're promoting this kind of like beta level shit, And but like Superbad's a perfect example for these like betas trying to get booze and get laid, and it's like, oh wow, it's these are not like the cool guys. The same as Revenge of the Nerds, right?
Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah.
We've been propagandized for a long time that the nerds are cool, that the nerds are the heroes and the jocks are the bad guys
But at
and
least Revenge
they're
of
the
the Nerds is
bullies.
fucking hilarious, man. I mean, Superbad's funny too, but out of those three
It's fun.
choices, I'm taking Revenge of the Nerds, dude.
Yeah, well, Superbad's funny too. I mean, I was never like a super cool guy, so you can kind of relate with, oh
Yeah.
God, wouldn't it be great if we lived in a world where the nerds kind of came up top and it's like, oh my God, now we're starting to live in a world where Bill Gates is doing God knows what to us because he hates humanity and he hates how he was picked on, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh geez,
Mr.
it's
Vaccine
terrifying.
Guy that couldn't
Yeah,
even keep viruses off his own computer systems, or I mean,
terrible,
quote unquote,
terrible.
his own computer system, if you know what I mean.
Right? Oh God, yeah. What about his wife? Do you think she was a dude?
I don't know, man. I mean, think about just the name Microsoft. It's on the Epstein Island shit. This is some
Yeah.
Owen Benjamin shit, dude. It's like, just think of the name Bernie Madoff with your money. Microsoft penis.
Yes. Oh my God,
I
it's
don't know,
so
dude. I don't
wild.
know if Melinda's a dude. She probably could be a dude. I think she's definitely just as complicit, but also, even if she wasn't going to the island or all the whatever, she knew what he was doing. So then you're just like, oh, I just don't want to ruin my happy lifestyle. So then you
Yeah.
might as well have just been on the island. So, you know what I mean? It's the same thing.
And they had some creepy interviews. Like they weren't even hiding it. Like he's talking about how the next pandemic is coming and we got to get prepared. And they're smiling at each other. I'm like, holy smokes! Like
Mm-hmm.
there's just some creepy shit out there. And with AI, coming along as fast as it is, it's like, dude, I don't. I think the future is we can't trust anything.
Oh, dude, yeah. We're cooked. I mean, honestly, I mean,
If
we
it
can
doesn't
just
happen to you, it didn't happen.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was gonna say is like if we don't see it with our own eyes, then don't
Yeah.
trust it almost, you know? No, don't
Well,
trust
and
a
I think we'll
picture on
get
the
to the
internet.
and we'll get to the point where we can't trust our own eyes either if they got holograms in the sky and
Mm-hmm.
holy smokes, dude, we're gonna be under mega attack where we won't
Yeah.
be able to
Well, think of
trust our
this, dude.
senses.
Bring it full circle. You know, like we've been kind of getting programmed to this the past, I don't know, at least 5 years, maybe a decade or so. But like drone fireworks shows. Okay, so hear me out,
Yeah.
right? We just
Yeah.
saw America's, 4th of July last night. So there's pictures all over the internet of these massive drone fireworks shows where they're doing cool eagles and whatever and shit shaped out in the sky and whatever. And then you're like, wait, so if I bring up Project Bluebeam, then I'm a retard. But like hey, they'll use holograms and drones to make it look like an alien invasion or a second coming of Jesus or whatever will freak everybody out. Meanwhile, ooh, pretty colors explode in the sky. Look how they manipulate it, make it look like a cool thing. And you're like, are you guys retarded? It's the same thing. Hey, today it's an eagle. Tomorrow it's fucking Quetzalcoatl, the serpent dragon god. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
Dude, I'm telling you, everybody, most people are waiting for the news to tell them what to think.
yeah,
Still, if the news doesn't tell you, then it never happened.
I seen it on
It's
my
crazy,
TV. Well, I saw
right?
9/11
Oh,
about a million times, and I look back on it and I see that was retarded. So just because you saw it doesn't mean you can't reanalyze it.
yeah, exactly. Well, bringing it back to America quickly, I just wanted to say I love your guys' First Amendment, Second Amendment. I would say when I was younger, I didn't understand it like I should have. Like we were never really taught that in school.
Yeah, just
But now
foreign.
looking but now looking at it, I'm like, wow, there are some dudes that escaped some crappy things and actually wanted to be libertarian centrists where the government like didn't tell them what to do. They could just, you know, have their own common sense dictate what their realities would be.
Mm-hmm.
And we should be able to protect ourselves from corrupt pieces of shit. Like to me, that's just a no brainer. That's not even a because so many people have been propagandized to think that the Second Amendment is just about loving guns. And in reality, the Second Amendment is to arm yourself against a corrupt government.
Absolutely. That's
Dude,
100% what it is. Yes, owning guns in the case of having that's what the Second Amendment is about militias. I mean, it's also about personal gun ownership, but it's also about like a two-part thing. It's about having personal gun ownership so that way you can form local militias to stand up to tyrannical or malicious governments. So that way you can organize and protect your families and your countrymen and your fellow people. And yeah, dude, it's crazy that these bastards pull it off, man. Like these
yeah,
the founding fathers, the Sons of Liberty. I mean, everybody thinks of my favorite out of them all is actually Sam Adams, and everybody's like, "Oh, the beer guy." And it's like, no, not just like no. That's it's almost like a psyop where they just get you to like forget about Sam because most of the guys
right.
were lawyers, litigious writers, like, and they were freaking geniuses. So his cousin John Adams, second president, he was a lawyer. He was super duper smart, right? And he helped with a lot of articles of what the fuck it is, configuration or whatever. A bunch of like he was very smart, a lot of the writing. John Adams, though, or Sam Adams was like the boots on the ground, getting the people in the taverns together, getting, you know what I mean? Like the guy going around and rallying the people and stuff. And that's why he was getting arrested constantly because his face was out there way more. While these other guys, Franklin and others, were sitting back and writing their letters and writing. So, I mean, they were
Right.
putting the pamphlet out there, but it's kind of like the guy that posts stuff on the internet. You never see his face versus then you got the guy out there literally boots on the ground handing out the Alex Jones posters or whatever every day. Like that was the
Yeah.
Sam Adams of our time, of that time, I mean.
Yeah. I would say January 6th is a great example for that. There should
Yeah.
have been probably 1,000 times the amount of people there than there was.
Hmm.
If Americans actually cared anything about what's going on, they would have stormed it. Just like in Canada, I was super disappointed. The trucker convoy was
Truckers.
amazing,
Yeah.
yes, but it should have been tenfold. Like there should have been zero resistance from the government because they would have been so overwhelmed. by
Yeah.
us, the ants. The ants should have outnumbered the grasshoppers 1,000 to 1, and we didn't. And
Yep.
that's
Just
the
like that
only
speech in the
reason.
movie, the
Yep.
Ants movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And same with January 6th. It should have been 1,000 to 1. There should have been zero resistance from the government because they would have been overwhelmed and lost immediately. They would have just put their guns down and just surrendered
Yeah. And that's what
immediately.
John
That's
even
the way it
told
should
me.
be.
And he said it on other interviews too, that he said, man, he goes, we got there and blah blah blah. You know, you get to when you go inside the door, and before you go inside the door, he said there are literal cops opening the barricades. There are literal cops just holding the door open for us, like you're opening the door for a little old lady at Walmart. Like, and he said
Hmm.
then when you got in the building, because he's always been like a more like a political atheist. Like I don't agree with either side, but I also see the effery that's going on with this election, so I'm gonna go use my voice and be heard.
Right.
And then you get in
Sure.
there. He said once I walked in the door, I basically realized oh shit, this is a setup, you know? And
Hmm.
that's what it was because I told him I was like, dude, and I was like not making fun of him. This was just funny because he laughed about it too. It's like, well, an insurrection with no guns and no deaths other than Ashley Babbitt who got shot by Capitol Police and there wasn't a country taken over. That doesn't really sound much like an insurrection to me. It sounds like a bunch of angry
Yeah.
protesters.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe DC has separate rules from America as well. So you have to be
100%
really careful.
sovereign state. Yep.
Yeah, so you have to be really careful. Like, I don't think most Americans know that. I mean, I found out after the fact. I didn't realize that once you're in DC, you kind of lose certain rights, or you
Yep.
don't have certain rights because it's kind of this gray zone. And I believe the Vatican's like that, and I believe something in
Bank of
London is like
England.
that. Like, yeah.
The
So
like
those,
there's something about like where the Bank of England is like that as well. It's a sovereign state, and then you also have like Vatican City, and then there's the Vatican, which is the sovereign spot, and then just like DC. Yeah,
right. So yeah, regular folks like us, we're gonna go try and make a difference, but we don't realize we're walking into a trap where
bingo.
we don't have our rights. We don't have anything. Like in America, it's you guys are really lucky. Those pieces of paper are actually pretty amazing. The problem is that we don't study them enough. We don't understand them enough. And like, why are we asking for permits or licenses for certain things when you should just be going down to the Declaration of Independence and looking actually through the documents, seeing what's what, right?
Yeah,
Obviously, they're going to say, "Oh, that wasn't for 2026. It needs to be adapted or
nope.
revised." But it's like, "Oh
It's
my
not a
goodness."
living document. It's a written document. It is as it
Yeah,
is. I mean, they've added
right.
some amendments and stuff over the years, but that's not necessarily the Constitution. That's whatever. But yeah, it's
Or
like we
Constitution,
are
sorry. I said
living
Declaration. Yeah.
we are living in a weird time where it's awesome to be able to celebrate the 250 years of America, but it's also as we're celebrating and we're being very patriotic and being very kind of like, loving the founding fathers and all that, go back and reread like what you just said. Reread what they said. Reread all the things they built this country on and tell me, does that resemble the fucking country we're standing in right now? Because as far as I can tell, it doesn't. But it also has a lot of people that are still like-minded that loved what it once was, and it could be taken back. And I don't mean taken back by force, taken back by ideology, taken back by a voting book, taken back by a bullet box. We don't know. But at the same time, if it doesn't get better sooner, it's going to get worse sooner. So, guys, we need to start waking the hell up and realize what this country once was. This isn't make America great again. This isn't no, what's up, my mega? Make Israel great again. No, this is like really constitutionalist, libertarian values. Go back and reread what these people said. So, Alex, dude, you're my favorite Canadian, maybe next to John Candy, but I'm just saying you're in great standards with the best of them, man. I love you to death, and tell everybody where they can find you. And thanks for coming on again, dude.
Yeah, you just you can find me at kpdesign.ca if you need me for anything. And yeah, I've been taking a break from podcasting, but whenever you need me, I'm on, and it's always fun to get into some of the conspiracies. And we didn't even have to do conspiracy today; we were doing political, and it's interesting that I love America. I love Americans. I've always had great experiences every time I've been in America, so I'm really happy to do this episode with you. And if I was the president of America, you know what I would do on a final note from me
Two
is I
chicks at
would
the same
bring
time, dude. No.
No, I'd bring home all the troops. I'd bring back everybody
Damn
from
straight.
all over the world, and I'd bring them back, and I would focus on manufacturing and mining and basically rebuilding everything that America has lost as far as a industrial powerhouse. And you'd have the best, like all those soldiers, everybody, all those diplomats, like some of the smartest people, some of the best people that are out there, bring
Yep.
them back into the country, focus on America, and actually pay back the 38 trillion. Like be debt free. That's how
Hmm.
you're going to be the best country in the world. Like being 38 trillion in debt, that's not an easy way to be a powerhouse in the world. It's pretty bad. So
Well, hey
got to
man, I don't
focus
know
on
if
getting back.
a Canadian can run as a vice president, but if I was to run for president, you'd be my VP, and we'll call our slogan would be "Let's clean this stit up." We'll bring the
Yeah,
boys back home, and we'll take care of our own house first, and quit worrying about our neighbors. Our neighbors need to be able to take care of themselves before we can expend ourselves. Alex, love you,
exactly.
brother. Always have a blast talking with you, man. America, happy 250th birthday. Don't forget what you started with and don't ruin it. Love you guys. Peace out, Stitt-Heads. And don't forget, put the classy or the ass in classy, whatever. I fucked it up. It's America, freedom of speech. Peace out. Bye bye.